Hello, everybody. Happy Saturday. Good to spend some time with you today. I have had this DIY idea in my head for a while since I watched another YouTuber making soccer balls out of recycled bags. And if you see my channel, I actually have made plarn out of plastic bags and use that to make little coasters and rugs and stuff like that, trying to save it. So one of the things he mentioned on his show is that you could use cardboard. So instead of stuffing all these bags with bags, you can use cardboard from everyday use that you have that you normally just throw in the garbage, or if you're in a different area, you can recycle. But we're from a smaller area and they do not have recycling. So a lot of ours goes in the garbage. And I just thought, man, wouldn't that be nice to come up with an idea to use it for something and not just throw it in the garbage, because I'm one of those people that just can't waste. I'm not an environmentalist per se, but I don't like to waste things either. I like to have something have a purpose. So anyways, today I'm going to do about an inch cut on all these different pieces of cardboard, just about an inch, give or take. I just kind of wanted to have a ruler to kind of, I better switch it from centimeters here. So I'm just going to do about an inch or so of the cardboard pieces. Like these are just examples of cardboard I have. These are just Kleenex inserts, like from your Kleenex boxes, which I think I have some in here, that you just rip out from the center. So I'm probably a little OCD where I didn't need to actually save those. But I thought, hey, why not? They're probably going to be easy to cut. So I'm going to get my little Tupperware here, and I'm going to just cut cardboard in here. Like I said, just about an inch. Just to give you kind of an idea, I'm just going to do little inch cuts because I don't want them to be too big inside the balls. And you don't have to have a soccer ball per se. Thinking just about like that, just like little basic cuts. I think I got some tape on my scissors from working on some other projects. So once I do about an inch cut, I think I'm going to call her good, and I'm not going to worry. This one I'm going to double up. I think if they're thin enough, we don't have to take as much time. And I'm not being precise here. I just kind of want to use my downtime to make something that my kids could use outside. And maybe give to some friends or bring to a park. And then if we forget to bring it home, I'm not worried about that expensive soccer ball that I just spent money on that the kids lost at the park. And we left it. No big deal. And really, I don't care because I figure somebody else will get it. And maybe they really needed a ball that day. Anyways, I'm just going to cut these odds and ends. And you guys have probably seen these in your home too. See, I'm a little OCD. I had to go back for that. I'm starting with the smallest to biggest, just kind of for fun. Just to show that you can really save any kind of cardboard. I mean, everybody's got cardboard they can use in their house. And even if you recycle it, which is great, it's being repurposed, which is wonderful. You could actually use it for something in your own home that your kids could use, or give to a friend. If somebody's got a big family and they got a lot of kids, maybe they don't have a ton of money to be buying all kinds of soccer balls or kickballs, or, I mean, they're not going to work for basketballs. They're probably only going to be kind of a good kickball, but anyways, it's kind of a fun way to spend your time. You can put the music on, put a movie you've seen 100 times if you're a movie buff like me, and have it on in the background and cut up some cardboard. Some of this cardboard is going to be easier to cut. These aren't too bad. These are all these flavored water. I don't know if you guys drink those, but my kids and I love those. These I think are going to be harder. These are Gorilla Tape, and they're made Gorilla style, which is like hard, which is why I like them. But yeah, those are going to be harder to cut. So I might maybe pull them apart when I'm cutting them. I'm working on a project for my husband, and I'm making like a memory box. So I needed a whole bunch of really strong tape to make it. And I don't know if these are going to be, hopefully not too big. I didn't want to have to double cut. I wanted to cut it once on the little items. On our bigger cardboards, we're going to have to, you might be stronger in your hands than I am, but I don't have that much brute strength. So you can kind of weaken it a little bit. But yeah, on our bigger ones, like all these pop ones I have here, these are all like pop and Kool-Aid and wine coolers and stuff. Those are going to be harder to cut in little pieces like this. I'm going to have to cut them, 2, maybe 3 times. Because imagine putting it in a bunch of bags, you want it to be kickable. Now I'm thinking of all the plastic bags, Walmart bags, Target bags, grocery bags that you get from anywhere that normally either line your paper baskets in your bathrooms, because they're too tiny for kitchen, obviously. Unless you're, a small family or you're a single person and you don't use a lot of garbage. But we have a big family and those would never work for our kitchen. So I'm using those bags today. I'm going to take all of these cardboard pieces that I'm cutting up now and I'm going to put them inside the ball, and that's going to be the stuffing, so to speak, of the ball. Now, there was a guy I watched on YouTube, which was really inventive and really creative, and he actually was making a bag ball. So he just took a little knotted bag to start with, and maybe you've seen this guy. I wish I could remember his name so I could share his link below. But he stuffed a bunch of bags in a bag repeatedly, and then that's how he got his soccer ball. So he did mention on film that you could, if you didn't have as many paper bags as he had, that you could actually, I'm going to thin this right now because this is hard, you could actually stuff it with pieces of cardboard. And I thought, oh, what a great idea. I have so much cardboard and I never use it for anything. I throw it in the garbage. Once in a while, I might use it to make a gift on, or, one of my daughters likes to take wrapping paper and make keepsake boxes out of it, or just kind of depends if it's a good enough box. I attempted one time, really didn't succeed too well, but using all of my plarn, my plastic yarn, I was hot gluing it on a box. And it didn't look terrible, but it's a lot more work, and I really actually don't like working too much with hot glue. It's too hot for my hands. It's super messy, sticky. It dries super fast. You have to be like a really fast person. I've seen people, it's hard, using super glue, and they are just pros, but that is not me. So I prefer things I don't have to glue, and with plarn on a cardboard, they don't call it gorilla for no reason. So we're starting to see if you can kind of see how much you amass just from like all these little ones. Imagine what we're going to get with some of the bigger ones. So I'm just going to keep doing little ones, and this is probably going to be my first little example of a ball. I might cut some more later. And these are just like boxes my, computer husband, had for ordering different SD card things and random, some stuff you have around the house. Sometimes you're getting them in the mail, and it's just nice not to have to throw away everything. But like I said, if you can recycle, more power to you. That's good too. Some of these, if they're too long, I think I will kind of cut in half because I'm imagining them inside a box and I don't want them to be too long. Although I think they'll bend easy enough. I'm probably getting a little too carried away here. These gorilla ones might not bend because these babies are tough. But they'll make for good stuffing, and then you don't have to have, 10,000 bags to fill up the middle. So this is kind of going to be a little bit of a tedious process, but like I said, you could be putting your phone on speakerphone and chat up, with an old friend you haven't talked to in a while, and just be cutting in the background if they don't mind the cutting sounds. Put on a movie, music, This is a common thing people are going to have if you have kids. I have a son who's allergic to pollen, so I have to have Benadryl on hand. Anytime he gets a bug bite or scratches on something, he starts to swell up, and we don't have to take him to the ER anymore for that. We just give him Benadryl, and the antihistamine works great. So now I can use that expensive Benadryl box, even though we buy generic, but for as much as we use it, it kind of is a pretty penny after a while. And I can use that for some good. I can make them a ball. Make them something they can put outside, and if they lose it, I don't care, and I'm not sad about it. Although I guess I might be a tinge sad because I did do all this hard work, but maybe somebody will find it, and guess what? It's waterproof. It's plastic. As long as we seal this ball enough, it's not gonna leak. So I don't know if any of you like to make tip dip. I did a short on my channel. If you like tip dip, check it out. It's our family recipe. A little shameless plug here. It's called the 369. Takes 3 cream cheese here, 6 tablespoons of mayo, mayonnaise, and then 9 shakes of kind of pick your poison. We do the garlic powder, but you can also do straight onion powder if you like onions. In fact, if you don't like the powder and you don't have finicky kids like me who don't like to chew onions, the onions actually taste a lot better. My parents like to have just straight diced onions in there. So you do 9 shakes, or just kind of, I guess, eyeball how many chopped onions, really small diced, I would suggest. Tastes better so you're not like chewing them in the dip. But it's a super yummy, easy, quick chip dip. You just blend it with the mixer once you're done, and you put those 3 ingredients, hence the recipe 369. You only need those 3 ingredients, and it's a super yummy chip dip, especially with summertime right now. It goes really good with Ripple. That's what I suggest, but a lot of people like tortilla chips. And, you know, my folks like to have the salsa with the chip dip, and that's also very good too. So you just kind of season it how you like. But at least those cream cheese boxes are, you know, going to maybe make a ball for one of their grandkids today here, not just chip dip. So we're getting a nice little amount in here. I think I might just do all the little ones for one ball and maybe the bigger ones for another ball. So I got a bunch of butters. And actually, if we cut them in half, maybe that'd be a little easier because they'd be more of the size that I'm looking for. Let's see if I can cut 2 at once. This is my first time doing this. I just kind of had it in my head, waiting for a Saturday to have some free time, some downtime to put this idea into action. So I'm hoping this works. I've done a lot of DIYs on my channel. If you've ever checked out my Marie's Minutes channel, and some have failed and some are, I guess, okay. I haven't really nailed it yet. The only one I think that isn't a complete failure is probably my jewelry holder that I made out of toilet paper rolls. My daughter really likes it and she uses it on her desk. I don't use it for a jewelry box. Okay, that's a little hard cutting it twice, so I'm going to single it. But she put it on her desk and she puts all of her cute little doodads she has, you know, pens and erasers and little keepsake, you know, I don't know. She's got a lot of little knick-knack things that go in there really nice. So it actually was kind of sweet to see her using it. She really likes it. But this DIY I'm hoping is going to work, because if this works, I'm going to have something in the future that I can use all of my cardboard for. And I can be kind of known as the ball lady, and I'll just start giving extra balls to kids at the park. I'll probably just keep them in my car, in my van, and then when I see kids at the park and there's not any balls around, I can just pull them out and, here, anybody want a ball? It's kind of a nice thing to have. Like I said, they're waterproof, and they're free, right? So, I mean, that's the best part. I think I lost a piece of my Sour Patch, and I don't know where that went. I'm going to find it. Oh, here, I think I found it already. Here we go. I tried to get away. I got you. All right. Let's see. Some of these, you can kind of make whatever size you want. I mean, I'm assuming the smaller, the better. It's just putzier. Obviously, the smaller you have it, it's going to be fitting a lot nicer in your soccer ball size, unless you're making a bigger ball. I guess there's nothing wrong with making kind of a big kickball, too. I'm thinking just more along the lines of a soccer ball, of what this guy was showing us on his site. And then he kind of wrapped it with a bunch of twine, I want to say. I forget exactly what he used. But I'm thinking I'm going to wrap my soccer balls with plarn. So I'm going to use the plarn, which is plastic yarn, in case you haven't seen my channel. Check out my short if you've never heard of plarn before, or you didn't know you could make plarn from plastic bags. But plarn just stands for plastic yarn. If I've said this already, I apologize. Sometimes I forget what I've said where, when, to who, if you have that problem. So the plastic yarn I'm going to braid into a really thick braid to make it stronger. And then that's going to be my twine that I'm going to use to kind of make the soccer ball texture on the outside. Otherwise, it's kind of just going to be a big undefined plastic ball, and I want it to have some kind of shape and kind of keep it together. And I think otherwise the plastic is going to rip apart when people try to kick it, you know, especially kids. They're just going to be giving it their all there. They're not going to care about the ball handling the kick. So I'm going to wrap it with braided plarn and kind of make it look like it's got the little circle kind of indents like a soccer ball does. And I'm hoping that's going to work, because I have a lot of plastic bags, and I have some plarn. I do have to make some. I'm getting a little low. I have made a 5x5 area rug that my girls use upstairs in their room. But you can make anything you want with plarn if it's strong enough. The smaller you make the plarn, if you've watched my shorts before, I have a couple different crocheting needles that I show how you can make it thinner or thicker. So the The wider you do it with a bigger crochet needle, if you're plarning or if you're crocheting or knitting, it's going to be weaker. But the smaller, I'm sorry, that's actually backwards. The bigger you do it, it's going to be stronger. The smaller you do it, which I actually kind of prefer the small one. I don't typically use anything bigger than a 4.0 for crochet. That's kind of my standard. It's a little weaker. So the thicker you make the loop, it's going to be stronger. So I guess it all depends on what you're planning to make with the plarn. So because these are going on soccer balls that you're going to be kicking and they're going to be outside getting a lot of use, I'm going to try to make it a pretty thick braided plarn, or at least double it over, maybe braid it once and then braid it again, because I don't want it to break, and I do have to tie a knot because I'm going to have an end tied on the soccer ball to keep the plarn wrapped around, kind of like twine, if you will. You can use anything. I think the gentleman that I watched on his channel used some kind of a cord. It looked like almost like a bungee cord. I just don't have that around the house personally. I mean, I have bungees, but they're not long enough, and I don't want to waste them by putting them on a soccer ball, and it's probably going to get kicked off. So I don't mind using some of my plarn, which I can tie literally on the ball and give it kind of that bumpy soccer ball grooved look. So, like I said, these are common things. I bet everybody in the world has a macaroni and cheese box laying around. A couple of them, if you have a bigger family, or if your kids like green or macaroni and cheese, like my kids. And then these aren't too hard to cut. They're not like awesome, but the smaller you cut them, the easier they are to cut. And it'll probably build up our hand strength, right? It's kind of like with crocheting. If I don't crochet for a while, it's hard at first, and I kind of cramp, and I'm like, uh-oh, I haven't crocheted in a while. So this is just kind of keeping us up to date with our finger strength. We're doing physical therapy here with the hands. I hope you're all enjoying your Saturday or whatever day you end up watching this. It's a beautiful day outside, and it's nice to have all the lights and doing something productive. Sometimes that's kind of my what is it? My one weakness. Has anyone else watched Lark Rise, where it's her one weakness? My one weakness is not always doing something productive, especially on the weekends. It's hard when you go crazy kind of all week, and I don't know, the weekends are kind of nice just to veg out and try to do as little as possible. Unless you have people coming over or you got to catch up on laundry, it's kind of nice in your downtime just to, put on a movie, do some hobbies, play some Minecraft. I love to play Minecraft in my downtime. And I like to just create things. So this is kind of fun for me, just to make something new, have variety. I think life without variety gets pretty boring. And I like to kind of keep it fun, keep it new, keep it fresh. Have something to get excited about, the regular routines and daily life kind of get mundane, and there's a lot of joy to it too, but it's kind of nice to have some extracurriculars you're thinking about or planning for, and spice it up a little bit. Thank you for watching, and thanks to any of my subscribers that are watching that actually subscribe to my channel. I appreciate. It's nice to have some people that are interested in some of the same hobbies I have and same things I like to do in my downtime. I feel like you're connecting across the world, and there's something kind of universally appealing about that. You haven't been YouTubing for too long. I've only been doing this for, I want to say, just about 2 months, around there. I'd have to check. Whenever my first video was posted, that's when I first started my channel. And it's honestly been a lot of fun. It's a fun way to spend my downtime and kind of have a purpose to even my hobbies. Maybe help people that didn't know, you could make plastic yarn, or didn't know that, Minecraft could be for women too. I kind of got into Minecraft from my husband, primarily my children, but my husband was a computer geek, so he got our kids into it, and then he would be at work and I would be home and they would get stuck in Minecraft, and I didn't have a clue because I wasn't a video gamer at that point. So I would have to try to do my best to help them, and I couldn't help them. And if you're a mother, you know that is not a good feeling. So I made my husband, or asked him, I should say, nicely, to help me learn how to play Minecraft. And then I did, and I was hooked. And now I love it. It's my only way to kind of do things that I don't normally do in real life. I don't chop trees. I don't garden. I don't landscape, unless you call my, weed whacking landscaping, which I think is kind of funny. I actually recently did some weed whacking that my daughter filmed for a short on my channel. Just check it out. Of my parents' kind of stony step area, and it made me feel like I was kind of landscaping in Minecraft because they have cobblestone stones. Some of them looked like andesite. Some of them looked like cobblestone, and then of course I was like sweeping dirt. After I had weed whacked everything, I just sweep all of the grass around. So I was like, wow, I'm in Minecraft, like for real, in the real life. It was kind of funny. That's the only gardening or landscaping or kind of yard work that I do. I don't mow the lawn. I used to, I guess in the past, we had a bigger land we had to mow at one point. I would help my husband out because it takes so long, but I haven't done that in a long time. So weed whacking is kind of the only landscaping I get. So it's fun to go into Minecraft and just landscape everything. Just get in like the worst spot, which is like actually super fun. I might make a video of just like spawning into like the worst spots you can imagine to like build a home. And I don't even care about building the home necessarily. I just care about landscaping the area. I just love to break dirt. There's something about it. It's kind of like a stress reliever, I think, for me, or it's just oddly relaxing, comforting. I don't know if any of you comment below if you think Minecraft is oddly kind of relaxing for you as well. I just love to break dirt. I love to kind of get everything even and create some water in the middle and plant some vegetables and fruits and just make it look really pretty. Make a stony sidewalk. Get the lights out. Just kind of things I don't do in real life. I don't know. There's some kind of just super. What's the word? I can't even think of the word. It's just super relaxing and fun, and you just feel so creative, and it's easy to do. I don't have to be an expert, and it doesn't require any prior knowledge. You just kind of go. That's why I love creative Minecraft too. We played a lot of creative with our kids, and now that our kids are getting a little older, they actually like survival. So now I'm kind of getting more used to survival than I am creative, because it's kind of nice to work for what you got to do in Minecraft. And if some of you do not like Minecraft, I'm sorry, I kind of went on a tangent here as I'm cutting all my cardboard about Minecraft, so I apologize. But if you have not tried Minecraft, give it a chance. I have a lot of family members that don't play either, and they don't want to, and that's all right. But if you haven't tried it before, give it a chance. It's not just for kids. It's a fun way to just be creative and, spend some time. If it's raining outside, or if you're tired, or heck, if you're sick, that's what we do a lot of times when we're sick, and normally you kind of distract yourself if you have the flu, you watch movies and you try to sleep. But when you have a cold or a sinus infection or things like that, the kids don't like to sleep because it's hard to lay down. They get plugged, they can't sleep. So Minecraft is a nice thing to kind of be creative, build something, make something, play with someone. You can actually LAN party with people in your own home. It doesn't have to be like online or chatting. You can just, with somebody sitting right next to you, you can play in a world with them. If you have somebody else in your family that likes to do computers. All right, what do we got next? We got some spaghetti. I'm sure a lot of you eat spaghetti at home. Nice to use it for another reason. I buy a lot of Great Value just because I try to save money as much as possible. We have a bigger family. I don't know if you've seen our Minecraft gameplay of 7, but that's our family. We have a big family, 7. Not the biggest. There's a lot of people who have bigger families, but for us, it's big. Anyways, we go through a lot of pasta. Kids like pasta. A lot of cheap stuff. You won't see all the ramen here because that's plastic. But, yeah, it's getting a little harder. Some of these cardboards are not going to be as fun to cut. I feel like I'm probably going to save the thinner ones more than the thick. In fact, I'm looking at all these over here, and I'm not excited to cut. These are like really thick, Capri. I mean, this wine cooler one might be a little better. It's pretty thin. Even the Cayman Jack. This is my favorite. I love this margarita. But these Kool-Aid containers for the kids, these do not look fun. These are massive. These are gonna probably hurt my fingers to cut right away. These Capri, and definitely all these pop. You can tell we're pop drinkers. So, you know, I think I'm gonna save those for another day. I'm gonna work on just ones that are manageable. Let's see, I think we got some more little noodles here. I like the half ones, so you don't always, oh, we can even have an extra one in there. I don't think we need the noodle, right? We don't need that. And if any of you have seen this done before, comment below who has done it. I haven't looked it up. I tend to try not to look up things that I'm planning to do myself because I don't want their video to kind of lead how I do mine. I like to kind of be original if I can on my channel, just things I come up with myself. So, I mean, the idea I did not come up with. Like I said, I watched a YouTuber and he mentioned that you could use cardboard inside the soccer balls versus plastic bags, and I like that. And I'm actually going to make some plastic bag balls too, because I do have a ton of plastic bags and I don't have time to always make it into plarn. It's kind of a lengthy process. You got to have a lot of time and I don't have a ton of time. So I might actually be using some of the plastic balls because it's a lot easier. You basically just put a ball and a ball and a ball until you get it as big as you want, you know, just kind of knot up, you know, one or two to begin with, and then you just go from there. I think I'm going to cut these open. It'll be a little bit easier. If you guys are a little stronger, or if this is a man that's going to do this, like my husband, this would probably be no problem, but he's a little better with his hands than I am, so I'm going to just, in fact, I'm going to rip some of these and make them thinner, and they're going to cut a lot nicer. And I'm just cutting strips that are about an inch, and then I'm going to cut the strips. I think that's probably the easiest, fastest way. I don't think I've ever seen or heard of anyone cutting cardboard, so I don't know of a like perfect way to do this. I'm just kind of winging it, like I said. But it's kind of fun. I don't know, there's something kind of fun about cutting. It kind of brings you back to your childhood where you always loved to cut stuff in school. Anybody else like that, where they just loved when you got scissors in art class? My kids to this day are always just like, you know, what can I cut? If I don't give them something to cut, then I start seeing things I don't want cut. So I try to make sure we got some cutting things happening with scissors so that they get it out of their system and they're not just dying to cut pillows or stuffed animals or things around the house I don't want to be cut. Well, I don't think anyone did this search a word here. We just probably ate the fruit, what do you call it, Go-Gurts that they love. All right, and maybe a couple more, and then I think I'll stop. I think we're going to have enough. I think we have a little bit more pasta and these. I think I'm going to do the same thing. I'm either going to probably just rip these, is what I'm assuming. They don't have to be even. As long as I can kind of thin it out, that's going to be easier for us to cut. And if you end up doing this, let me know. Comment below if you have an easier way, because, I mean, you can help others. I'm just winging this. I just had this idea in my head. I've been saving this cardboard for a long time, kind of in anticipation of having enough to do this short. And actually, I'm probably going to do a full video here in case somebody wants to actually watch the whole thing. But I thought I would make a short, which would kind of give you guys the basics, and a lot of times that's all you need. Once you put out a short out there, people know what to do after that. So this is just giving you a guideline. You can make it better in probably a million different ways that I'm not thinking of, because I'm just not delving too far into it. I'm just being kind of vague here, trying to find another way to not throw everything in the garbage. And I don't want to pay to have more garbage cans either. I would like to cut the waste if possible. So this is going to be one of my ways that I can help on cutting waste. Let's see. And you might have a better scissors. This is one of my sewing scissors, so it should be pretty good, but it's not honestly as great as I thought it would be. Unless I just have weak fingers. I don't cut things a lot. You know, unless I'm sewing or knitting. I don't really knit anymore, but I do crochet. If I'm, you know, crocheting, you just make tiny little cuts. You're not cutting things over and over and over. The only thing I cut, you know, regularly would be plarn, but plastic bags are really easy to cut. So this is a workout for my hands here. And they're going everywhere. I'm going to have to get those because I'm a little OCD and I don't want those all over the house. But I'm kind of a fast person too, so I don't do things slow enough. This is not sped up, by the way. This is just me at my speed. I know if other people would sit and cut like this, you know, then everything would go into the box. But that's not me. Ask my husband, ask my family. I'm a little faster with things, but that does make more of a mess. So, you know, you get your pros and cons with everybody's different personality traits, right? All right. Well, I think I'm going to call this good. We're getting pretty full. This is going to be enough. So now I'm going to get the bags, and we're going to stuff this stuff here in a bag, make a ball, and then we're just going to keep balling it until we get a nice size that we like, and then we're going to make a soccer ball. Okay, welcome back. Got the bags. We have all our cut up pieces of cardboard, various different cardboards, and then I have a whole bunch of bags in here. So we're just going to start. I'm going to put these to the side and grab these by grabbing. Actually, I'm not going to grab. I'm going to dump. I'm going to dump this whole thing in here. This is going to be a ball, which, let's see, that's probably, to be honest, going to be a little big. So I think I'm going to do about half of that. I'll make 2 average size balls. I don't want it to be so big they can't kick it, right? So let's not use all of that. All right, we'll put that to the side. So I'm going to do, well, I don't know what you say, about a half a bag full of cardboard. You can see it in there. Just going to tie it in a knot. And then we're going to just keep putting it in another bag. So, you get some bags out here. And I'm just going to keep bagging it. Some of these are going to be too big. And I think I'm just going to twist and put them in. I'm not going to even worry about tying them because they're not going to come out when they're all tied in the end game either. And let's save ourselves some steps, to be honest, right? You want this to be something you could actually do on a Saturday afternoon and not waste your whole day, because it is precious time on a Saturday. If you're like me, that's the time you have kind of catch up on stuff, or at least things you want to do. I never saw myself as a YouTuber, but it's honestly a lot of fun, and I don't know, it's kind of a fun way to connect. I like to watch videos myself. I sub to a lot of people, and I probably should sub to more. So I can kind of understand why people don't sub to my channel, because I don't actually sub to a lot of the people I watch. I used to, back in the day, before I was even a YouTuber, I used to think it was kind of annoying, to be fair, to be honest, when people would be like, hit that subscribe, you know, hit the like button, like it was what they would say every time before they even did their video. All right, I'm going to sit for this. And I don't know why, that always just kind of bugged me. It just felt like a shameless bug. Is that bad? I mean, now it's like I put that in my description on my channel, or sometimes I make funny little diamond art, or I did a Minecraft one once I reached 50 subs. So I get it now. When you want people to actually watch your channel and people just don't subscribe, you know? I don't subscribe, so I understand. So I get you. You don't want to get subs, you know, daily things all the time in your YouTube homepage. You kind of want to just check out the latest and greatest. And if you sub, you know, you do tend to see a lot from their channel. So totally understand. I just appreciate you watching this. And if you want to sub, great. If you don't, that's great too. Because like I said, I don't even sub to everybody. I think I probably will sub more now that I'm kind of in this YouTube world. And I understand a little bit more of what's going on. I get it. And I feel like it kind of helps people out. Get some kind of motivation to put out some new stuff and, you know, new channel info that people actually are subbing to in the first place. With my channel, it's a little tricky because I actually have a lot of different things that I put on my channel, because I like to do all of my hobbies. I like to do my downtime. So I mean, I got plarning and diamond art, and I do puzzles with my mama, and I like to play Minecraft, and I like to do DIY like I'm doing right now. I like to kind of do new things. So I'm not really sure when people are subbing, if they're subbing for my chip dip recipe, or are they subbing because I play Minecraft and I'm a woman and there's not a lot of lady Minecraft YouTubers out there. I just don't know. So with me, I'm not sure what people are subbing for precisely. So whatever you're subbing for, I appreciate it, and I do try to kind of put enough content for all of the possible things that people could sub on my channel. So it's diamond art. I'm going to be getting back to that. I'm still working on this really huge picture that our kids actually got us for our anniversary. So I am trying to finish that one, and I'm really close to being done. So I'm going to do another little kind of, I guess it's not really a tutorial per se because I don't talk in it, but I do kind of put music on in the background. And I think in a couple I did, I think I put some text. All right, now that it's getting a little harder here, I'm going to start tying because I want to keep the tightness. And already I probably have air that needs to be pushed out. And I mean, a soccer ball is only going to be, so big, right? I'm probably going to try to squeeze some air out of it next. Try to get it a little tighter. But I think that's why they do the twine. I've watched some kids in, I want to say Africa or Nigeria, and it was just beautiful. They were making these soccer balls out of their plastic bags, and they were twining them with different twine they had around, and they had such a skill to it. It was just awesome. So mine are not going to look that good. Mine are not going to be that great. Mine are just going to be plastic balls of cardboard. But I am going to try to make the plarn braided cord look nice on the outside, because I don't think anybody wants a Walmart sign on their soccer ball when they're outside kicking it at the park. I don't think kids are going to want a certain name on there. I don't even know if they want Target, They don't really want anything on it. So that's the reason I'm going to actually plarn it, kind of keep it tight. I don't know, and that's looking like it's pretty done. Definitely has good weight to it. It feels like a good kick kind of quality. I think that's going to be a good size. I don't want it too much bigger. So now I'm going to have to get my plarn out. And for those of you who have not seen my plarn, you will get to see what plarn is if you haven't watched any of my plarning videos on my channel. And I'm going to braid them together to make the twine look on the outside of this ball. Make it feel like a soccer ball. And maybe we can hide some of this cheesy Walmart logo stuff. No offense to Walmart. We're regular shoppers there. You got a big family. You can't be picky. And I do have a little hole here, actually, so I think I'm going to do another one. I don't want there to be holes on the outside. In fact, maybe I should pick a bag that's not too, let's get a darker one. Something that looks more like a soccer ball. Let's do our Kohl's bag. And then we can make sure there's no hole. Honestly, we still got holes in our Kohl's bag. So it's going to be kind of hit and miss. But at least hide some of it. Maybe I could double back through it. This might look kind of cool. I've done that before when I'm tying something. If I double it through and get it tight enough, the holes shouldn't actually go through the double bag. And it's going to be a temporary ball. It's made out of plastic. It's made out of cardboard. It's not going to last forever. So if rain gets in it and we notice it getting too heavy because it's been left out in the rain, then guess what? That's going to have to go into the garbage. But at least we repurposed our bags and our cardboard for a little while, and hopefully some fun memories. Maybe get it on video so you can remember the days you made a plarn ball for your kids. All right, I think I'm going to call it. I'm going to stop the video here, and I'm going to go get some plarn, and we'll make our braided cord that we need to make our soccer ball look. Okay, I am back. I actually let my kids go out and kind of test this, which was probably a mistake. So I don't know if you can tell, but there are some holes, so it looks like it's not indestructible, which I guess I wasn't expecting it to be. But I thought, you know what, I'm going to put it in just one more bag just to make it a little bit sturdier, so I'm going to add it to one more of the lovely Kohl's bags. And hopefully none of this is going to show because I'm going to twine it up nice and good and tight with some plarn. As tight as you can go with plarn anyways, because it's not as sturdy as everything else. So I think I'm going to cut off the ends here once I got a nice good knot. And then this is my plarn roll that I already had made up. This is my plastic yarn, which will work great. This was in some of my other videos. If you want to check my channel, I thought the gray would look the best kind of with the ball because it's the closest to the color. I made some little packs of 3 here that I'm going to do. 1, 2, 3. So what I'm going to do basically, I have 3 separate looped pieces of plarn that I unrolled from my plarn roll. So it's basically, just think of it like yarn if you're not familiar with it. This plarn roll right here is like yarn. So I took a string of yarn, which is plarn, right? And I'm going to braid them. So I'm taking 3, which kind of looks like it's double, but that's just because they're looped. So I'm going to tie the end. This is one way that you could make free, reusable, waterproof stuff you got around the house yarn. So now if I separate these 3, I'm going to have a nice little braided plarn, which is going to be a lot tighter, a lot stronger basically. It's not really going to be tighter, but it's going to be, maybe this will hold it for me. So I'm just going to braid this, which is not the easiest to do, or braid. I think some people say braid and some people say braid. So I think we've always said braid. But if you kind of make them into balls, maybe that might be a little easier. I kind of did this on one of my DIYs when I made a toilet paper wreath, which I felt like was a fail. That felt like that was a fail to me. I basically just want to make this twine stronger than just doing one plarn string. Like one plarn, like one piece of yarn, except it's one piece of plarn. So I'm just going to crisscross them in a very loose braid because it's going to get tightened when we wrap it around for the plarn, for the twine, excuse me. So we're just going to braid this, get it nice and tight, as good as we can basically. And then, like I said, when we wrap it, this is going to be a nice piece of durable yarn plarn, which hopefully shouldn't break, but it'll make our soccer ball look like an actual ball. It'll have some definition. So we'll have to just kind of keep pulling it as we go. If this works to kind of hold it, really doesn't have to be too tight. Just kind of want it twisted together. It's not like hair where you like it to be really precise and really tight. Or yarn would show. But this is just going to be wrapped around, and it's our free string basically. So we don't care what it looks like, we just want it to be together. A little putsy. Make little clumps at the end, it's a little easier to twist it. And then once we pull it in. So I kind of did probably a little bit longer than you would probably need to go, but I didn't want to run out of twine as fast. So we'll see how long this gets us with this length of, I don't know, is it about maybe 4 or 5 feet maybe? I don't know if I had to guess. I didn't really measure it. I just kind of grabbed 3 strings that were the even amount, same amount. And then I knew I was going to be making a parade out of those. So we'll see what we get almost done here with our braid. This kind of reminds me of the Tangled movie where they're just doing her hair. Little kids in town, the girls in town, loving all that long hair. All right, I'm kind of uneven here at the end. I must not have pulled this tight on one, but it doesn't matter. This is just going to be string. It's going to be tightened. So when we get to the end, we'll just tie a knot, and we'll cut off the excess. It looks like I'm going to have an excess of one of them. It's the other third. Here we go. Okay, so we'll cut that off. Those are our 3. Now this piece will work as a good piece of twines. He's just going to kind of tighten. Looks a little messier than I'd like, but this is about the length of it. What would we say? This is probably only about, I don't know, 4 or 5 feet long. So we'll just start. In fact, you know what we could do? We could use this knot. Like I said, I'm kind of winging this. I hadn't really planned on how exactly I was going to put the twine on, but I wanted to have more definition. So I'm just going to tie a couple knots on the top knot. This works good. This might be a nice kind of hanger of how to hang this plarn around the ball and not have it come out. So then all I saw was him wrapping it like this, and then he just kind of turned it a little bit each time to kind of make those gathers that, you know, you would typically see in a, you know, soccer ball, basketball kind of thing. That it's supposed to feel like a ball and not, you know, obviously like a plastic ball of stuff. So maybe we'll just, not going to have enough here, but I might just kind of loop this in here and tie it here. And then all I got to do is make another one of those braided twine ropes, if you will. And then we can tie that. I don't know if that's going to stay. I might do one more. It is going to get kicked around. I feel like this is probably going to come undone, but it's worth a shot, right? To try and get it to last. Maybe I'll kind of tie a couple through here. However, you can kind of loop it in to make it feel like it's more secure is probably the best, so that it doesn't come undone. But, I mean, hey, if it comes undone, it's just a ball of plastic with cardboard inside, so it's not like it's going to make a huge mess. It's still going to stay in the bags because we have about, I don't know, I guess I didn't really count how many bags we had there, but probably about 15 maybe? I don't know, maybe 20 bags. So see how it's starting to look? It almost kind of looks like a pumpkin from the side. This would be kind of a cool pumpkin idea. If you had orange bags, which I know some shops do, that would actually be really cool. You could make your own little pumpkin for Thanksgiving. Nice little DIY. So now I'm going to have to gather some more of my braided string here. And let's make another one because that was not enough. So I'm just going to take these 3. I did a couple kind of on the side just to kind of be ready. So again, just take 3 looped pieces of plarn that you get from your ball of yarn, plarn. Whoever invented it, they're a genius. What a great idea. I mean, what a great way to use plastic bags. I subscribe to another lady too. I want to say she's, what is it? It's something like Irish or Kiltish. She does some great things. She made some really fun balls, but she actually crochets it, which would be a lot of work and a lot of time. And I don't have that kind of time or that kind of patience really. But her and her daughters, because they wanted more colors, they actually use tablecloths, which is a great idea. So you get a tablecloth for a birthday or a party, and then you don't want to just throw it away in the garbage, and it's still good. And once you wash them, you know, they're usable again. So they made like rainbow balls. It was the coolest thing. It just takes a lot of time, and again, I don't have that much time. That's why my channel is called Downtime, because I don't have a ton of downtime. I'm going to use that to kind of hold the base there again. Just kind of ball up the ends. It makes it easier to kind of braid these in the beginning because it's so big. So pardon how long this takes. Maybe I'll speed this up so you don't have to sit through all of this. This would be the place to speed it up so you don't have to watch all of this as it gathers. A little putsy, but kind of relaxing. For those of you that don't mind watching DIY videos for, you know, half hour. I'm not even sure what time we're at to right now, but it's getting to be about that time, I'm assuming. All right, sometimes it can get kind of wadded, but again, what do we even care? It's just going to go around this ball. We just need it to be a thickened rope. Something nice and durable. And something you can tie a knot in that's not going to break. We don't want it to break when the kids are kicking the ball. Or adults. My husband and I kind of practiced with it here in between when I was trying to get this barn together. And it's kind of fun for like hot potato, you know, it's kind of got a fun feel to it. You'd have to feel it. But it's very soft and kind of squishy for having cardboard inside. I think because of the layers of plastic bags, it makes it feel like a fun textile to kind of touch. So it's actually kind of fun just to play hot potato, or you don't have to kick it is what I'm saying. You could just have it for a ball, throw it around. You know, have your kids try not to let it touch the ground, and if it does, who cares? It's made out of plastic bags. No big deal. And if you had like a paperweight or something, that would be a lot easier. But if you don't, just do like me. I'm just putting the ball right on the end of my braid, so it kind of holds it for me so I can keep pulling it further. Unless you have a really long table, like a card table that you could set it out on and just put the braided rope on the table, that would be ideal. You'd have a lot easier time. Oops, I saw a hair there. All right, getting close to the end. We'll tie our knot. Then we got another piece of nice rope twine for free, made out of bags that we didn't have to pay for, and we didn't throw in the garbage, more importantly. Tie those three together at the bottom, and we'll cut off the excess. Can't remember if I tied 2 last time, but I feel like I should at least do 2, right? Just to make sure. Cut off the knots. We don't need those. And then let's do our little twine around here. Again, it's about the same length. I don't know if that's about, I guess that could be maybe, if you imagine a foot, that could be about 6 feet long, depending on how big of a foot you have. So let's tie it on here again. That worked really nice to kind of hold it on there. What's nice too, when you triple, actually, we're tripling the plarn, it makes it very durable to tie knots, because it's a little hard to rip plarn when you're tying knots. I'm going to cut off these ends too, so it looks a little better. So that's another good reason to triple it up, because you want it to be really strong. And I'll kind of put it around. Nice if I could get some air out of here. If you have air, just try to kind of squeeze it out. I hate to puncture it, because then we're going to lose our quality. Definitely looking like a pumpkin. I think I might twist a little bit around here and then go in the other direction. I think we kind of have it all covered. So maybe I'll take this and go underneath. I want to make sure this is going to stay. And I feel like if we go, while you're holding it tight, try to keep your tightness. I noticed that was one of the things they always said when they were doing this, was to keep it taut. See, look like there, I pulled too tight here and it kind of loosened. So that's the difference with plarn. It's not super strong. So I might just cut where it got weakened right there, and we'll pull this out and start over. I might just keep this part tied around here, maybe tie a knot, and then I could kind of weave it underneath after. But just be careful when you pull. You can get a knot, but it's not like yarn where you can tie a really tough knot and it stays, because it is, after all, plastic. And look at this. This is even coming out too. The knot doesn't hold perfectly. I think I might just kind of tie this again at the top. I mean, it really doesn't matter because it's going to be twined. I do want it to be as tight as possible. Maybe I'll kind of make a nice little pretty ball of knots up here. I'm imagining my kids playing with this, and they're rough with stuff, so I don't want it to break. So I'm going to really try to knot as many as possible. We kind of broke it off and tied a couple side knots, which hopefully should make it a little stronger. All right, and then we'll cut off our excess. If you cut too close, then you risk it being untied, but I don't really want a big hanging thing there either. It's kind of tough. So we'll cut off this. I might just tie an ending one here, because I wrapped it around, but I don't want it to come loose. So you'll just have to kind of monkey with it, just get it firmed up as much as you can without pulling too tight. That shows I haven't made a ball yet, so I'm definitely not going to pull as hard next time when I twine. If I make any more of these balls, I'm going to be a little bit looser. But I want to somehow go under. I noticed when I saw him doing it, he was kind of weaving underneath all of it to keep the lines kind of intact. I mean, right now we're looking like a pumpkin here. And this one is a little short to even go around, so I don't think I'm even going to use that one. But you get the general idea. This is the basic premise. I think it would be better to maybe weave some pieces around, and you could kind of go sideways. In fact, maybe I have a couple left. I could kind of show the way he made it look like a soccer ball. Let's just do one more thing to it, and we'll call it quits here. If I get these untangled. So we have our 1, and then we have our 2, and let's get a third one. That actually was the second one here. It's hard when they're so long, they kind of seem like they're the same one. And then we just need one more. Okay, so we got our 3 little looped pieces of plarn, which I'm not sure exactly how long they are, but you could make yours longer if you want it to go longer and you don't have to keep braiding it like I'm doing. This time I'm not going to braid it. I'm just going to kind of twist it. 1, because I want to be done with this, and 2, I want to see if this works just as good. So let's maybe still try to tie it on here. I think that's still the best bet to get this to stay initially. So we'll just tie it around the big knot we got going here. A couple of times back and forth just to make it secure. And we can cut off the excess. I think I'll double knot it when I'm done. It'll be a big knot ball, really. Okay, so we'll cut that part off. It's the end part, so it looks a little better. And then I'm still going to keep these together because I want it to be strong, but I'm going to try to go through underneath here. So we'll get kind of the end of this. And maybe you could just kind of ball it on your finger just to kind of get an easy thing to stuff underneath there. So push it if you can kind of underneath, because that's what I saw them do. So I want to push it under without pulling it too tight because it is, after all, plarn. So get it under a couple times to kind of keep all of the little twined pieces, separator things together. Just kind of firms up the ball a little bit. I mean, it is going to be kicked, so you want it to be as strong as you can possibly make it with plarn. I'm not sure where this one came from. I think it's part of this one. Okay, so now that we have it under there a little bit, I'm not sure how you can go sideways, actually. You would have probably had to do it the other way. You know, I was thinking of kind of crossing it like this around, but I don't know how it would actually stay, and I can't remember. Isn't that how it works? You know, I watched a few different videos and I had it in my head, but it's been, you know, about a month. Yeah, I don't know how. I guess you'd have to tie between spots, maybe. So I think I'll forget that for now. I think I'm just going to use the rest of this twine to kind of make a couple more little lines, little dividers, and maybe go under it again too, since I have some excess. You can pull it through, why not? That's just going to keep it from undoing. And then just try to go in some areas that look like they could use another line. There's a lot of air in mine. I would suggest if you can get as much air as you can out before you start, because I don't want to pop the air out. If I put a hole, I feel like the ball is going to be compromised. So if you're able to make it better next time, that would be my tip. All right, and I think I'm at the end here, so I'm just going to put it under, and I'm going to tighten a knot, and I'm going to call it. And then I'm hoping the kids are going to have fun. I mean, they already liked it before I even put the twine on, so I'm not really worried about it. I am just kind of worried at how long it's going to last. Because, you know, then you kind of weigh the pros and the cons. Was it worth making this ball? Do the kids have enough fun with it? And I'm going to tie a knot with some of the other twine that's already on, because that's already good on the ball. So they'll just use that to tie a knot. This is going to be kind of our bottom knot here. So just kind of do it as tight as you can without ripping it. Again, this plarn does rip. It's not super strong. The way I've had it work the best so far in using this plarn, I'm kind of a newbie at it myself, is with the rug. But that's because it's very tightly woven, and it's all supporting each other. Like this is kind of by itself. So, you know, I think we're going to call it. It's not the best looking soccer ball I've ever seen in my life, and I've seen better done on YouTube, but I'm happy with it. I feel like it's going to be fun for the kids. And like I said, it's actually really fun to touch. It's got like a fun feel. It's got good weight to it. If you wanted to make it smaller, you could make it more of a, not a baseball, but what's kind of that middle size, you know? Dodgeball, you can make it like a bouncy ball. So just add as much cardboard as you want to make it bigger, smaller. I mean, you could make it really big and it would be like hilarious trying to throw it back and forth, or You wouldn't have to be a kickball, it could be a throw ball. So there you go. That's kind of a closer look at it. It almost kind of looks like a gray pumpkin in my opinion. So you can kind of see it there. But it's actually fun to hold. It's got good weight. It's plastic, so it's waterproof. It's good for outside. That's my DIY for this Saturday. Thanks for watching, you guys, and have a great weekend. Bye-bye. Okay. All right. Before I go, I decided I actually had a probably even better way to make it look like an actual soccer ball. My other daughter, not the one who said to do the braids with the plarn, actually suggested like a net. So I thought, hey, I have that really big coaster I made with this really big crochet needle that was in one of my other shorts, or it might have been in a video. And I decided if I made that coaster bigger, this was the coaster. So this is all made out of plarn from crocheting with this big, I don't even know what size hook this is. This has got to be like an 8 maybe. I don't know. It doesn't have a number on it. I got it at a thrift shop, but I thought it would be kind of fun for rugs, but it's too big for my taste. So the one that I demonstrated, and you can see up close here, the holes are very big, which I think is too hard for a rug because it lets everything through. But this would actually be great to make the cover of the soccer ball, right? Doesn't that look more like a ball if this was all wrapped around than our little pumpkin that we ended up with? So my idea, I went back and I just crocheted a little bit more onto this mini coaster, and I'm going to now crochet this huge coaster around this ball to make it more of a soccer ball. So that's my thought, that's my idea. Let's see if it works. I'm going to get my plarn over here, my plastic yarn. I'm going to make my loop for all of those who don't crochet. Making my little loop here so I can insert, you can see that, into the hole. And I'm just going to crochet these two pieces together with my yarn, aka plastic yarn. So it's not going to be probably as tight, but I'm just going to kind of go through the holes on the end here. And actually I might kind of put this up higher. See if I can get this to work. I haven't really tested this yet. I probably should have it behind because I want it to be tight, but not too tight because, like I said, plarn does break pretty easy. So let's just get it kind of looped together. Oops, if I can even get it through here. I haven't actually knitted with our plarn on this rug. I mean, on this, not the rug, the ball. So I'm just going to go through the holes here and try to tighten it. And get it on the holes here, make it nice and snug, and if I have to tighten it after, I will. So basically just go through all of the holes. If you do want to make one of these coasters, now if you don't crochet, this is not going to be fun for you, so I understand that. This is all, I'm going to pull this in a little bit, this is just for people who actually wouldn't mind crocheting some of their plarn. So if you don't crochet, feel free. You don't have to watch the rest of this video. This is just going to be crocheting my plarn through my little coaster that I crocheted. I used to knit, but knitting actually is a lot harder for me. I really like crocheting. You can kind of make up your own patterns and your own everything. Because I'm kind of a patternless person. I do not like patterns. I've tried to make hats and, I don't know, scarves and things by patterns, but when I make them just myself, I do a much better job and I have a lot more fun. So I don't use patterns anymore. I just make it up myself. I'm kind of an original crocheter. Because knitting, you can't fix your mistakes. If you're a knitter, when you make mistakes, oh man, is it hard? It's so frustrating. It almost makes me want to just like start over instead of trying to fix it, because you have to take out so many of your last, whatever you call, I don't know what you call them, like stitches, or when you're knitting, I haven't knitted in so long, but when you crochet, you can just fix your mess right away. You just skip one, go over one. You never have to like go back in, which I love. So right now I'm just kind of trying to go in each hole, and I'm probably missing some, but hey, that's okay. Crochet is really easy to show, to hide your mistakes so they don't show. So I'm almost to the end here. I'm just kind of sewing it, kind of, if you will, like I would with a needle and thread, but I'm using my plarn to connect, and I think I am a little off here, which sounds about right, because I'm doing this kind of fast and I'm kind of winging it here. But once we get in and we get it kind of secure, I think I grabbed a double one here too. It's not as easy with plarn, obviously, as it's going to be with yarn, but it's kind of fun. I like the challenge. I like having something different to work with because, after a while, you pretty much made everything you can, with yarn. So then it's kind of fun to try something new and what can I make with plarn? So we kind of have a nice little seam here that you can see kind of holding it. So I thought I would just maybe go down the sides and kind of firm it up so that way it'll keep it like a ball. And then this is my end gather. I don't know about you, but I just shove in my end gather so it's kind of a little bit more solid. If you cut it, it can come out because the plarn knots are not very strong. So I don't do too many knots. I just leave them hanging. I leave that little thread. So basically, once we have the ball in, I'm kind of just going to sew the ball in. Just going to grab the sides. And we can skip some. This is just a ball. We just want to kind of get it nice and strong, tied around. But we want it to kind of look like one ball, too. That's probably going to be the difficult thing, is having it not look like it's sewn in on one side. But I just was not happy with that pumpkin look that we ended with. I just wanted it to look more like a ball. And I'm, a bit of a perfectionist. Kind of died to it over the years, but that's probably coming back into it now and making me want to try to make it just a little bit better. So let's see if this makes it a little bit better. And hey, if it doesn't and this looks worse, then we can just slip it out of there or cut it off, which I probably would never do because that'd be too big of a waste. So I'm probably going to keep this whatever it ends up looking like because that's just who I am. But you can choose after we get the end result here and see which one you think looks better. If you thought it looked better with just the twine kind of made by the plarn, which makes it kind of look like a pumpkin, but it's not orange, it is silver, so it's not like that's the obvious thought, but for me it just looked like a pumpkin. I just kind of wanted to have something to grab too. Now I thought this would be kind of cool for kids because they can grab these little loops, all these holes. I feel like you could put your fingers in it like a bowling ball, and you could, if you can't get a grip on it, you could just put your hands inside the little grooves like you would put your fingers in a bowling ball. So that was my thought anyways. We'll see if that ends up working out. And we're almost to the end here. I'm going to try to kind of grab more than one so I can kind of get rid of some of this, although I probably am going to need some more room on the other side. My ball is kind of falling out a little bit. Now we can tidy this up at the end. I just kind of wanted to seal it on both sides. So I'm going to cut this off once I pull out a little bit of gather. I always leave a little bit of gather. So we'll leave that for now. So we've kind of zipped it up on the back, which is a little interesting. And then now we just have to crochet this last section here together. But to me, this looks more like a soccer ball, minus all the loops and stuff, than the other one. Okay, so now to get this sewed up, we're going to loop our thread back on. I mean, not our thread. We're not sewing. We're plarning. So I'm just tying a knot at the end of this. I think I must have cut off right in the middle of a loop. So I'm just going to make it look a little nicer. So let's get our loop again for crocheting. We get our little circle like this. Here's the ball of yarn here. We're doing our thing. We turn it around so it's like a little twist. And then you just I put both my fingers in. You're not going to do it my other way. It's funny when you try to show someone how to do it, all of a sudden you forget how to do it. Isn't that crazy? All right, so now let's go in and cinch this bad boy up. I'm just going to go through the loops again, try to get a strong kind of foothold. So I'm going to go into a couple of them, versus just one, because I think it'll feel stronger. And I'm going to go on the ends this time because I want to pull it in if possible. Because we're kind of, I've got a big gap here. So you'll probably be a little better at doing this. Just kind of pull it together however you can. Imagine you're using yarn. That's basically what I do. And just kind of go in one of the deeper holes so that you can, I don't normally like to work with the really big ones. I don't know, they're just messier for me. I like the little ones. And I don't normally do this big of a knitting or crocheting loop or hole, I should say. Kind of hard to do. You could probably do this if you wanted. If you don't, let's say you don't crochet. This is probably hard to see. If you don't crochet, you could actually sew this. You know, you can put it through like big needles. My kids have a lot of those big needles, and those would actually work too. So however you are more, you know, the most comfortable, sew it. I mean, you could probably do thread. I don't know. I don't know if that would hold or not. You just basically want to get the plarn on here so that it looks more, to me, I think, like a soccer ball. So I'm just kind of trying to find the little gathers here that are still open. I mean, after all, we're just talking about a ball here, right? This is just a fun ball. Doesn't have to be perfect. That's what I'm always telling my kids, because I'm kind of a perfectionist myself. So I got to kind of tell myself this at the same time. Kind of eyeballing this going, wow, this is kind of looking like a hot mess. But my kids have already tested it and they already think it's fun. So I just want to make it even better for them and even more enjoyable and make it maybe look more like a soccer ball than it did before. Any improvement from my pumpkin I will take at this point. So I think I got most of it. This is just a little thread I was tucking in there. It's kind of the end of one of the knotted. All right, so let's pull this out. We can always kind of tie if we need to. I'm going to put that out there. So we don't need any more plarn. And I think we're caught here, but that's all right. So we're done with that. Now we just got to kind of tie this up to make it look a little nicer. So I'm going to maybe pull this in. I wonder if I could tie it on the inside with my other one to kind of pull it tight. I think that's possible. And I go through it a little bit. I don't think anyone's going to notice it going through the loop of the side of this ball here. Well, that one kind of came out. And it's not like it has to connect with this. I just kind of felt like this would be a complete kind of way of doing it. And that's just me. You might not need that satisfaction. This is really thin right here too. See how that just broke? So this is not even going to stay probably that long, but it will stay inside and that's all we need. So let's take a look. Does this look any better? Granted, it was done very fast and very rushed. So if you took your time and actually made it through all the loops, you could make it look a lot better than this. You wouldn't have all the gaps. But, you know, it's a ball, right? Balls can be imperfect, sort of. Anyways, I don't know. I think this looks a little better. It does have some clumps kind of on the side, but you could even out. And like I said, if you took more time, I just kind of wanted to add this to the video before I edit it because I just felt like this would look better and more like a complete ball. So let me know what you think in the comments. Does this look better than the pumpkin that we saw from the beginning? And you can kind of see the pumpkin lines in here kind of before. So this is like a double reinforced ball. You know, heck, the kids could kind of grab it like this. This would be kind of a good holding thing to pick it up, or they could kind of get their fingers in it. It's kind of like a jungle gym where they have to climb up those rope things at parks. I don't know. I feel like this will work. I feel like I like this better. This looks more complete, looks more like an actual intentional look. So let me know what you think. All right. Again, have a great weekend. I think I'm done now. My perfectionist attitude can die, and I'm going to leave it like this, and the kids are going to have fun, and that's all that matters. All right. Take care. God bless.